This video, you're going to learn about density. This is for chapter 2 in the chemistry textbook. So density is something we cover in both 8th and 9th grade, and so you've probably heard of this before, but this is a great review. Linking it to what we already know, density is an intensive physical property, and if you remind yourself what intensive means, it means no matter how much of the material that you have present, whether it's, example, like a drop of water or a lake full of water, the density should stay the same. It does not depend on how much there is. Now, the formula that you should know for density is that density is equal to mass divided by volume. And for solids and liquids, which is what we usually cover in chemistry, although we'll talk about gases as well, for solids and liquids, the density measurement that we're going to use will always be in either grams per milliliter or grams per centimeter cubed. You might remember that a milliliter and a milliliter and a centimeter cubed are exactly the same. So if I say something has a density of 1 gram per milliliter, it also has a density of 1 gram per centimeter cubed. For gases, we usually use something like grams per liter or grams per decimeter cubed. And a liter and a decimeter cubed are exactly the same thing also. So if I say something has a density of 10 grams per liter, it would also be 10 grams per decimeter cubed. Now, some students have trouble with remembering how to solve for each of the other variables. If you want to solve for mass, you would have to multiply by volume on each side. So mass is equal to density times volume. And if you wanted to solve for volume from there, it would be mass divided by density. So those are the three formulas you could use. I know some teachers teach you to make this triangle and to put density in the bottom left corner, mass on the top, and volume on the other corner. And if you cover up any one of the three variables, so for example, if I were to cover up density, I would have mass divided by volume. But if I covered up mass, it would be density times volume. That's a helpful tool to help you remember how to do the math of these problems. But the trick is you got to make the triangle the right way. So sometimes it can work against you. So you have to be very careful. Now, we're going to do an example problem together. The question says, what is the density of an object with a mass of 375.0 grams and a volume of 125.0 milliliters? Now, what you want to get in the habit of doing is listing what it is they're asking you to find in the variables that they do give you. So the first part of the question says, what is the density? So I'm going to say that's my question mark. That's what I'm trying to find. I've also been told that it has a mass of 375 grams, 375.0 actually, and that will make a difference for our significant digits. And the volume is 125.0 milliliters. Now the question says, what is the density? So the formula that I'm going to use, and you should always write the formula that you are using, density is equal to mass divided by volume. So if you plug the numbers in that you were given, 375 grams for mass divided by 125 milliliters for the volume. Now mathematically that isn't a very difficult problem. The answer is 3. But you have to remember that in chemistry, we care about significant figures. So it's not just going to be okay to write a 3. You have to look at each of your measurements. This measurement here, 375.0, has 4 significant figures. Don't forget that that 0, this 0 here, is at the end of the number and on the right side of the decimal. So this one has 4 significant digits. The bottom measurement, the 125.0, also then has 4 significant digits. And so my answer, 3, has to be listed to 4 significant figures. So I'm going to write 3 point, and then I'm going to have to include 3 more zeros to get that to count. So 3 grams per milliliter is my answer. Now, don't forget to go do the learning check. Your practice problem is listed here. What I would do if I were you is work it out yourself first, and then go on to Moodle and try typing in the answer or doing the learning check the way that it's written for you. So you'll have the work written out for you already. Good luck.